Hi there, this is tuxacher.com. Welcome on my video channel, and in today's video we want to take a short look on Affinity Photo, which is a so-called Photoshop clone and was released in version 1.70, or better the 1.71 I'm now showing to you a couple of days ago. Okay, let's start with the program. Okay, we started Affinity Photo, and I will start first with a raw file to load into the program, and that's a little bit comparable because we are now in the developer persona. It's a little bit comparable to the Photoshop combination, where first is Adobe Camera Raw to do the first development settings. Okay, here in the basic you have all the things you should need, like here black point, brightness and so on. And if you go a little bit down, you have the saturation, vibrance, and here what you maybe need even more is to brighten up here the shadows and take down the highlights a little bit. Here you got the lens correction with the lens profiles. Here you can do noise reduction or do even sharpening, and here you can apply curves or anything like that to basically process the image. When you think that is fine, you can switch over to the photo persona, which now will take the first development. Okay, you now loaded the image with the settings you've done in the develop persona, and here's the most important thing probably for developing, or which made Affinity Photo to be called a Photoshop clone. That are the layers you can see here. On the adjustment panel you have all the adjustment even from Photoshop or any other raw converter, like here shadows and curves and channel mixer and black and white and contrast and so on. You got here the effects you probably might to apply to the image, and if you're done you can save the image as a photo file or as a PSD, which is Photoshop compatible. Okay, let's just close this one and let's do a panorama. You first add the images. Here you can add or delete some images you want to keep out from the panorama, and then you can go ahead and stitch. That takes quite a while, so we do a little cut here. Okay, yeah, we got the first side on the panorama. You click OK, and now the panorama is rendered for full size, I hope. That takes quite a while, so we make another cut. Okay, here we got the finished image. First crop it like this, say apply, and apply a little bit more brightness to it. Now, after the panorama is done, you have all the processing tool, probably from Photoshop, and the image is processed in firstly in 30-bit, but when you switch to the photo persona it's going back to 16-bit, but you can choose a 32-bit output. Okay, that's the panorama mode. We will cancel this one, and now we make a HDR, add some images. This will take quite a while too, so we make another cut here. Okay, now it's finished. Just like on other tools here, you got I call them presets to apply a look to the HDR in just one mouse click. Maybe that's too much and you want to go for natural, and say apply, and then do additional image processing in the develop persona. Okay, that were the three little intros into Affinity Photo. Okay, as you can see that Affinity Photo is pretty sophisticated, and I think if we're talking about features, it's close to Photoshop CC. And if you take into consideration that the company is selling the program now for almost 44 euros, that might be a pretty fair deal for this kind of software. The software is available for Macintosh and for Windows systems, and there is a special version for iPad, which means iOS system, but you have to buy an extra license to use it on an iPad. Okay, let me talk about the reason why I tested the version 1.71 on a laptop. I downloaded the trial version. By the way, the trial period is only 10 days, and installed it on my regular system here. But when I loaded raw files either from my Canon or from my Lumix, they were displayed in the develop persona way too dark, at least 2 to 3 exposure values, and I tried to solve this problem via the forum of the company, but didn't get to an end. And another problem was that the trial period was over so far, so I couldn't test it on my regular desktop PC, and I did it on a freshly installed Windows laptop. Affinity Photo is sort of a Photoshop clone, okay, but to me it's not the right choice for processing every image, but because you have to take into consideration, if you save a file that you processed with Affinity, like from my Canon RAW files, this adds another 175 megabyte of storage, even if you don't use any sort of layers. So in addition, with the original RAW file, you would end up with around 200 megabytes of storage space for each image. I think that's a little bit too much, but for special images you want to take more image processing, that might be the right deal if you don't like the Adobe subscription model. So far it's sold right now at 44 euros, and since there is a trial version available, you might take a closer look before you buy a license. Okay, that was my little video on Affinity Photo. If you have any questions, just place them into the comments or in the comments of the corresponding blog post. And surely I would like a like on this video, and even more if you subscribe my channel. So that's it all for today. So I have to say, till the next time, ciao, Tuxoche.